It starts with a headline that sounds like pure chaos. Angel Reese furious, top free agents turning their backs, and the ultimate comparison thrown in her face. She's no Caitlin Clark. It's a kind of narrative that spreads fast, grabs attention, and pulls fans into a dramatic storyline. But once you strip away the noise, the truth is far less explosive and far more revealing about how the league actually works. Angel Reese didn't enter the WNBA quietly. She came in with confidence, a championship resumed from college, and a personality that refuses to shrink. Her presence is loud, emotional, and unapologetic. That's exactly what made her a star at the college level and continues to define her early professional career. But that same intensity also makes her an easy target for exaggerated narratives. When people see passion on the court, they sometimes assume frustration off its hand. That's where stories like this begin to take shape. On the other side, you have Caitlin Clark, a player whose arrival has brought unprecedented attention to the league. Her style is different: long-range shooting, elite vision, and a game that naturally elevates offensive flow. She's often described as a generational talent, and with that label comes massive expectations and, inevitably, constant comparison to her peers. The media has turned Reese and Clark into opposing forces, even when the reality is much more nuanced. The claim that top free agents are ignoring Reese doesn't really hold up when you look at how free agency actually works. Players don't choose teams based on a single young star. They evaluate entire organizations' coaching staff, system fit, roster balance, market exposure, and most importantly, the chance to win. A veteran player isn't thinking, "I don't want to play with Angel Reese." They're thinking, "Where can I thrive? Where can I compete for a championship? Where does my role make sense?" Those decisions are layered, strategic, and often influenced by factors fans never even see. It's also important to understand timing. Reese is still at the very beginning of her WNBA journey. Teams don't instantly become free agent destinations overnight. Even franchises with superstar players often take years to build a reputation that attracts top talent. Chemistry, culture, and consistency all play a role. Expecting a wave of elite players to immediately gravitate toward a rookie or second-year player just isn't how the league operates. That doesn't mean Reese isn't valuable, far from it. Her impact shows up in ways that don't always translate into highlight reels. She rebounds relentlessly, defends with energy, and brings a physical edge that can shift momentum. She plays with a chip on her shoulder, and that attitude fuels her performance. Not every star needs to dominate the ball or score 30 points a night to be essential. Basketball is about roles, and Reese has already proven she can own hers. The comparison to Clark, though, keeps resurfacing because it's easy. Clark's game is visually spectacular. Deep threes, no-look passes, and high-scoring performances naturally draw attention. It's the kind of playstyle that attracts both fans and potentially teammates who benefit from that offensive gravity. Reese's strengths are different. She thrives in the paint, in the hustle plays, in the physical battles that don't always make headlines but win games. Saying she's no Caitlin Clark isn't a real critic, just pointing out that they're not the same player, and they shouldn't be. The league doesn't need clones. It needs diversity and talent. The best teams are built on complementary skills. A roster full of shooters without rebounding struggles. A team full of defenders without scoring options falls short. The idea that one style is inherently better than another oversimplifies the complexity of basketball. Reese and Clark represent two ends of a spectrum that, when combined, creates a complete team dynamic. As for the idea that Reese is furious, there's no credible evidence to support that. She's competitive, yes. She plays with emotion, celebrates big moments, and isn't afraid to show intensity. But that's part of her identity as an athlete. It's what drives her. Interpreting that as off-court frustration is more about perception than reality. Athletes at this level are wired to compete, and that fire doesn't switch off, always there, pushing them to improve. What's actually happening is something much more common in professional sports. A young player navigating expectations while building her place in the league. Reese isn't being rejected. She's evolving. She's learning how to adapt her game, how to handle the spotlight, and how to contribute to a team at the highest level. That process takes time, no matter how talented you are coming in. There's also a bigger picture to consider. The WNBA is growing rapidly, with more attention, more investment, and more eyes on every storyline. Players like Reese and Clark are at the center of that growth, whether they like it or not. Every performance, every reaction, every moment gets amplified. Narratives form quickly, and not all of them are accurate. But they shape how fans perceive players, sometimes unfairly. Reese's brand, though, is strong in its own right. She has built a following that connects with her authenticity. She doesn't try to fit into a mold, and that resonates with fans who appreciate individuality. In a league where personality and marketability matter more than ever, that's a significant asset. She's not trying to be Clark, and she doesn't need to be. Her lane is different, and it's one she's continuing to define. Meanwhile, Clark's presence doesn't diminish. Reese simply adds another layer to the league's narrative. 2 stars, 2 styles, 2 journeys unfolding at the same time. The comparison might never go away, but it doesn't have to define either of them. Success in the WNBA isn't a zero-sum game. One player rising doesn't mean another is falling. So when you hear that Angel Reese is being ignored or that she's frustrated because she's not Caitlin Clark, take a step back. Look at the full picture. Consider how teams are built, how players develop, and how narratives are created. The truth is rarely as dramatic as the headline, but it's always more meaningful. What you're actually watching isn't a story of rejection, it's a story of growth. A young player establishing herself, proving her value, and learning what it takes to succeed at the highest level. And if history has shown anything, it's that players with Reese's mentality don't fade away if they find a way to rise.